Yesterday on Saturday night, I went to an award ceremony for the Solid Waste Management Cooperation in St. Kitts. For my household, I actually won a recycling award. We actually go recycling regularly, and my name is done because it was initially my idea to go recycling. And we won some recycled shopping bags, we won a flash drive, we won some cups, we won a recycling hat. This is says let's recycle St. Nevis. And then we also won a book that's about recycling. And also I got a free dinner at it, and it was really cool. And the award ceremony, the beginning was actually a steel pan rendition of the national anthem of St. Kitts and Nevis. And then also, oh, I was actually there with my mom's friend, and she actually has been working for solid waste management for 25 years, and she actually got a little trophy. So that was really cool that she won that trophy. That was great. And then I learned a lot about solid waste management because they had different presentations. One of the presentations was on somebody named Alfonso Bridgewater. He actually used to run the company, and he made sure that they got their own building after a couple of years, and that building was built without a loan or anything. So that's really cool. And a lot of people were cheering for different people in management because I guess they love their bosses. Many people actually won tickets to different parties and stuff. One of them actually won a ticket for two to St. Martin. And then a lot of people also won 1,000 EC dollars. It was a ticket raffle. I didn't get a ticket because I was not part of the company. I just actually recycle, like we recycle, and it's great that they recognized us. So we got three more durables recycling shopping bags. It's cool, but we didn't really even need anymore. But we have so many, so it's a great thing that karmically we actually are being rewarded. The food was really good. I didn't really overfill my plate. Many people there were filling up the plate with tons of food, and I was not expecting them to finish all of that food. And some of them didn't, so that's cool. And then the fruit punch at the Marriott, it tasted really good, and it didn't have any grapefruit in it, so it did not mess with my medication. So that's really cool. So basically, the Solid Waste Management Corporation is about recycling the landfill, garbage, cleaning the streets, and other things like that. So that's really cool. So I can show you the hat I won. So I won this hat. You can see um, it says let's recycle St. Nevis, and I also won this recycling book. So yes, we actually won other stuff too, but I didn't actually I didn't actually put them on camera. So that was cool last night. It ended at around 10:30, but there actually also was an after party. But I really didn't want to go to the after party, so I actually just left at 10:30. And then earlier on in the week, I watched Australian women beat English women in the final of the women's T20 Cricket World Cup. It was energetic and exciting and fun to watch the match. And I watched most of the second half of the match starting from the 2.3 over. Australia wins cricket a lot, like male and female. And this is like a seventh or fifth time or something they've won the women's T20 Cricket World Cup. So I guess that's what Australia is actually really good at. And also the final, it actually was in England, and in England the music is always really fun. In England they're always playing like EDM songs and some pop songs, but I love electronic dance music, so that's why I love the English songs. So that's really cool. And in the Caribbean Premier League they mostly just play Caribbean songs, but I actually love electronic dance music songs more, and also some Jamaicans actually um there's a component of electronic dance music that comes from that, so that's really cool. So that's how it got started. And then I watched a video the from the New York Times that said that many people are moving to Cuba from to Guyana from Cuba. I thought it was really interesting that they moved to Guyana because since Cuba has been having power outages, many have been moving because I don't think that they have to get a visa or something to go to Guyana. So many of them are looking for work in Guyana, but some of them actually are being taken advantage of. Like one of the workers, someone took away his passport and didn't give it back. So that's not good. And some of them say they work, and then some people actually do not want to pay them after they work. So that's not good. So I'm not certain if more of the Cubans are going to move to the Guyana because many of the people who moved to Guyana, they're not actually sure if they did the right thing by moving to Guyana. And I saw that this lady, she actually said that she moved to Guyana because she wanted to give her children a better life. And since Guyana has found oil, they've been making a lot more money. Like they used to be um, more poorer, but I guess everything's getting better. I know they built a bridge like some years ago, and they built the cricket stadium, so that's cool. Hopefully, the people actually in Guyana are getting money. And one thing about Guyana that I learned that was very scary, I saw that some of the children that live like in the jungle or near the jungle, I saw the children they actually had to canoe. The girls were canoeing to school, and that's really scary because there are tons of different dangerous animals in the river, and that's really hard to Oh, hello, hi, Miss Goat, and hi, Cheska Boomagat. How are you guys doing on this Sunday morning? Speaking of Sunday, I usually put on church, the Methodist church, my grandmother on the TV. But the last couple of weeks, the Chromecast hasn't been working. There's something you can move it from your phone to the TV by pressing a button, but every time I've been putting it on the television, it's just been repeating the same thing over and over. And I'm not actually sure why that is. Well, so I put the computer out there, my mom's laptop, I put it out there for my grandmother to watch the Methodist church while I'm making this video. Okay, so for the Football World Cup, Norway, they actually caused an upset and they beat Brazil. And I was surprised, but I'm kind of happy for Norway because they have not been in the World Cup for a very long time. I don't really watch football, but I watched the Cape Verde match, I think, versus who it was. I don't remember who it was, but they played really well, and everyone keeps on speaking about the goalie. Anyways, so also England beat Mexico in Mexico, and my father was telling me that some of the English players were frightened about playing in Mexico because the stadium is actually a little feet high in the air, like above sea level, and I think it's different. You can breathe differently there instead of regularly, and some of the Mexicans probably their genetics they're adapted to that environment. So yeah, but I know many Mexicans are part white and they also part indigenous. So yeah. And actually last night also I was checking the score. I think England knocked Norway out of the World Cup. And many of the players on the English football team have Jamaican parents or grandparents, so that's really cool. And my mother she grew up in Jamaica, England, and also Nevis and St. Kitts. But my grandmother actually is born and bred in Jamaica, and she's an extremely proud Jamaican, and she went to this high school called Caron Hall High School. It was a boarding school, and she actually got into that high school because she won a scholarship. She had to do an exam, and her and another girl tied, and they both gave them the scholarship to go to that school. And speaking of scholarship, my grandfather also he won a scholarship. He won the Leeward Island scholarship to go to college. So that's really cool. And he actually was an anesthesiologist too. So that's really cool. So both of my grandparents won scholarships to go to school. Many people are speaking about the player on Norway's team called Haaland or something like that. And I actually saw a post either on TikTok or Instagram or something. It was saying that some people, I think in Peru, I think 400 babies or something, or nearly 500 babies. People named their babies after him. So he's so popular that people are just naming their children. That I'm so surprised that one World Cup and people a couple of matches and people are naming the baby after him. But he actually is a really good player, and I saw that they said that his father played for a team in England for many years, and he actually was born in England and grew up in England only for 3 years, and then he moved back to Norway, so that's why he actually plays for Norway. I also saw a clip he was saying that he doesn't drink alcohol when his teammates, some of his teammates are drinking alcohol, he drinks water, and he says they like to tease him about it, but they don't complain when he scores goals for Norway. So yeah. And other people were saying since Portugal got knocked out of the FIFA Football World Cup, they were saying that Cristiano Ronaldo was crying and that he actually had no opportunity for Portugal to win the World Cup. And what I realized, all of the teams in the semifinals of the Cricket World Cup are European, plus Argentina. I think it's France, Spain, Argentina, and I think England. So Europeans really love football, and they're really great at football. So that's what I learned from watching that. Okay, so earlier in this week we had a lot of Sahara dust in St. Kitts. It's basically like dust from the Sahara Desert in Africa. It blows all the way across the Atlantic Ocean over here. And I was looking at the map, and Cape Verde gets tons of Sahara dust. It actually messes up with people who have allergies and sinus problems and asthma, so it's not really good for people. But I have no idea how people actually living in the Sahara and people in Cape Verde are dealing with that much dust, because it's a lot of dust. Maybe the children are eventually being adapted to it, and also some people have been living in that part of Africa for a long time, so they probably adapted to that. And also, I know a lot of them actually wear face coverings, like they wear this thing on their head and shoulders, and I guess they use the cloth to cover their nose. But yeah. So yeah, but the only good thing about the Sahara dust is that it helps weaken hurricanes, but it's not good for many people. And also, we have been getting a lot of sargassum, and I watched a video of somebody showing that the sargassum is damaging areas, and they actually don't understand why sargassum is happening. And I know some was near the Marriott beach, and I read on Google AI that the reason for the sargassum getting so popular is because of the oceans are warming. So this kind of it's a 5,000 mile long um sargassum called the Great Atlantic Sargassum Belt. It's been growing really fast since the sea has been warming. And I also read that toxic chemicals come out of the sargassum when it's on the beach, like hydrogen sulfide, ammonia, and it can irritate your eyes, your nose, and it can cause severe breathing problems. So yeah, so it's not good at all, and we can't really do anything about it. So yeah, and I also learned that they said that you also can get stung by it, because the sargassum holds different things like jellyfish in it. So basically, you can actually be damaged by the sargassum. I think it's also called seaweed, but I'm not sure. But it's not good at all. And I also saw that Belgium beat the USA in Washington State in the FIFA Soccer World Cup. So basically, I think also Canada. They were saying that Mexico, Canada, and also the USA, the three host nations, all of them actually got eliminated from the World Cup. I went on KIMI.com, which is an KIMI.com, which is an AI, and asked it if I'm multi-sensory aphantasic and can't see, hear, taste, smell, feel, or touch, or move in my mind's eye, mind's ear, mind's tongue, and stuff like that. And also if I have borderline autism traits, partially alexithymic and partially severely deficient autobiographical memory. I asked it what is different about my brain, and it gave me this cool infographic, and I put it as a picture in my Facebook, and I also put it on my YouTube channel in the post section. I also put the description that the AI gave me. So they said that, um, uh, okay, hold on. They said, never mind. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where my notes are. Anyway, so if you want to read about that, you can go look on my YouTube page in the post section, and you can read what it's about. So KIMI gave me a really long description, and I actually found it more detailed than ChatGPT and Google AI, and I was surprised that KIMI gave me such a long explanation. And then I read an article on ScienceDaily.com that said that excessive drinking as a young adult might rewire the brain. So the research was done on mice, and the article was explaining that people that stopped drinking, who used to drink too much when they were in their young adults, their brain actually changed, and their brain actually basically needs alcohol to de-stress because they did that when they were young. And they were saying even though they stopped, they might start back in middle age because their brain changed from how it used to be. So yeah, and it also said that certain parts of the brain, it looks like the damage in Alzheimer's, and the brain basically did not get better from that. So I actually was surprised. They said they're gonna have to start treating people that used to binge drink or have alcoholism differently, because they said once you stop the alcohol, it doesn't mean that for the whole your whole life you're gonna be able to stop it. So yeah, I don't really care if people drink alcohol or not. They can do that if they want to, but I never really was like a lot about alcohol or anything. And I know that it damages sperm, like it deforms the sperm, and it can cause different things like in babies, and it also can cause pregnancy problems like pre-eclampsia and placental problems, and it also can cause miscarriages. So yeah, some of this stuff can be neurodevelopmental disabilities in children and stuff like that. Okay. So we're gonna see who wins this football World Cup. Like I said, I don't really watch football, but I love the Cape Verde match. It was against Argentina, and it was really really fun to watch. So yeah, so I'm actually happy that the fans are having so much fun in the USA, and the stadium is way fuller than I thought it was gonna be, because before the before the World Cup, people were saying that the stadium tickets weren't being sold, and the hotels were canceling um, rooms and letting anybody else use the rooms because not as many people were coming to the World Cup. But I've seen a lot of some of the matches, and basically it's been really full. So many of the people who actually have been in the football World Cup, like tourists, they've been saying that they're surprised by the portions of American food and how big the food is, and they're also surprised some places give them refills on drinks. And a lot of them weren't tipping, and then some restaurants decided they're actually going to deliberately put the tipping amount in the price of the food so that the tourists can automatically tip. So yeah. But one bad thing about it, they said that human traffickers are targeting tourists and they're kidnapping people because they see it as an opportunity to get people. So that's not really good at all. And then also France, they beat Morocco in one of the quarterfinals of the FIFA Football World Cup. And I was a little bit happy because I was a little bit more than not back in France, because the French team is made of like original French people plus people from former French colonies or current French colonies. So that's why I'm back in France. And plus my grandfather, his genes are originally from Saint Bartholomew, and that's basically well, it was a French place. Like they speak French still. Actually, it's actually still part of France. Sorry, it's still part of France, but it's a small little island in the Caribbean. So that's why I was back in France. So how have your guys' weekend been going? I plan to this afternoon. I'm guessing I want to watch at least 1 hour of a cricket match in Major League Cricket. I have not really been watching it because I was watching the Women's T20 Cricket World Cup first. But no, I'm gonna see this afternoon at 4:30. I don't remember who's playing. I think maybe New York might be playing somebody. So I wanna see what happens with that. And I know that cricket actually is actually going to be in the Olympics in the LA 2028 Olympics, and that's really cool. It's gonna be T20 cricket and 6 teams. I was surprised that only 6 teams were gonna be in the Olympics, and I'm not sure if anybody from the West Indies is gonna represent because basically we have one team is made of different countries, but I guess they just play like that because the population combined actually is small, so I guess that's why. But we can't actually play in the Olympics as West Indies. I think the cricket board was asking the International Cricket Council if basically if we can have a tournament among ourselves and only one team, whoever wins, would represent the West Indies at the Olympics. But I'm not certain if um, anybody agreed to that on anything. The last time I checked was some months ago, and no one actually agreed with that. So cricket actually is my favorite sport to watch, but I want to really watch it like one time a week on the on the weekend if I feel like watching it. And I actually am very excited. Hopefully, it gets really popular in the USA among players, and there are more players that have great grandparents and grandparents from the USA, and they make the cricket team because right now the American cricket team they have a lot of players whose parents are immigrants or the immigrants themselves, and they also and the one thing that's great about T20 cricket leagues around the world, usually half of your team can be players that are not from the area. So, for example, if they're not from Texas or something like that, and the Texas team, half of the players can be international players that can come and they can play on your side for you. And they actually auction cricketers too. Like they say, if you want this person on the team, you have to say how much money that you want. So I know the Indian Premier League does that, so I'm guessing that the Major League Cricket in the USA actually also does that. So yeah. Oh, so what I do for work, I update a website on WordPress. So that's what I do. I don't really get paid a lot, but I'm still happy that I'm getting paid, and I'm happy that I have that job. So yeah, so that's cool. So what else can I speak about? Um, I also take car videos. Like my mom drives us somewhere, and every Saturday I take their camera and I videotape what's happening on the road, so that we can get views and stuff. A lot of people don't really watch my car videos, but I don't really mind. A few of them watch it, so I guess they have fun watching that. And also, I like to record St. Kitts News. I originally started my YouTube channel because I wanted to document each day, and that's how I decided to videotape the animals, like the cats and the dogs. Many people love to watch the videos of the cats and the dogs, but I really was just originally trying to document my day. I used to take videos of them Monday to Friday and stuff, but now it's Monday to Thursday, and I do other things. So that's cool, and it's really great. I actually love cats and I love dogs too, and they're really fun. And it's great that my mom is able to feed them and stuff. Like she buys the food, but actually, oh my god, I feed the dogs in the night, and I give the animals their water. So that's really cool. And speaking of water, I actually take care of my grandmother while I help her like drink her tea, like her green tea for high blood pressure 2 times a day, and I help her drink her Metamucil for her stomach. It helps your stomach. I think when you get older, you get something called diverticulitis that pains your stomach. So yes, I help her with that, and I also help her take her pills. So yeah, we have to keep her hydrated so that she doesn't end up in the hospital. And speaking of that, France was having a really crazy heat wave, and also England, I guess other parts of Europe. I think they said France actually was around over 100 degrees for days and days, and they were hotter than 98% of the world. And many people online were saying that Europeans don't want AC, but I'm not sure how true that is. They were saying that they really need to start building AC in houses in Europe because the houses are not built for that. The houses, I think they're built to retain heat, but I really need to start adding because many people are dying. Also, my cousin, who is also my father's first cousin, her father actually died in England, and they actually had to wait. They actually have to wait a whole month because they said that so many extra people were dying from the heat wave in England. They actually had to wait that long. Yeah, and so my dad was saying many people don't check up on the old people, and probably they don't drink enough water, and they're in their homes by themselves, and that's why so many people are dying from the heat wave. So yeah, and I actually was watching this video. I think it's Tuvalu. Many places are flooding, and then every year Australia accepts a certain amount of them to move to Australia because their country basically is sinking, and I think by 2050 or something like that, their whole country will be underwater. Many of them don't actually even really want to leave Tuvalu. They said that they wanted to raise their children in the culture and the traditions of Tuvalu, but they actually can't do that since that's happening. And I actually think it's really good that Australia is accepting the climate refugees um, that have islands sinking under the ocean because basically I think Australia, I don't remember if their economy has to do with oil or something, but I think it's a lot of gas being put into the atmosphere by Australia. So I guess I thought that it's good if they taking people. But also I think I heard that many people in Australia they hang their clothes on the line outside in the sun. They don't actually use dryers, so they actually were trying to help the environment. So that's cool. I saw this video on TikTok last night. These people were in this truck or something, and they were laughing, and they were also kind of frightened because this brown car was just chasing them and chasing them, and it was really crazy that the car was chasing them for that long. So yeah. Oh, sometimes I watch Amazon Prime, but I don't really like it that much. I used to watch Netflix. I actually find some of the Netflix stuff better, but I can't really talk because people like different things, so that's cool. But I think some Zac Efron movies are supposed to be coming out on Amazon Prime Video. I'm not sure what time. I think one is called Famous, and another one. What's the other one called? I don't remember what the other one is called, but he's also going to be in this television series called Angel Heart, and he's also going to be executive producing it. So he actually can do many things. And I read that he actually took theater classes when he was growing up, and he was so good that his teacher in high school suggested different talent agents for him to audition and stuff. And his parents used to fly him, I think, to Los Angeles, so that he actually could try out for different parts. That's really cool. Okay, so I hope that your weekend has been going well and you have a great weekend. I saw a picture of this accident in St. Kitts, which is not good at all. They actually had to cut some people out of a vehicle also, which is really scary. Like sometimes some of the people in St. Kitts don't drive that well. Like we don't really have anywhere to go that fast anyway because it's a small island. But I don't know. Maybe some people are impatient. So yeah. But I actually like it a lot more than the USA because I'm really afraid of the roads in the United States. I find it extremely scary with the speed, the amount of lanes, and I don't like that when you're driving, you go automatically onto the highway, and some of the places, the speed limit is set at 55, but they want you to come out like from a mall or something, and drive out into the road to merge with the traffic, and I find that really crazy. So yeah, so for this World Cup, I'm not sure if I'm backing France or if I'm backing England. I will see. Sometimes I back a team and then I change my mind and I said, oh, I'm gonna back another team. Anyway, so I hope that you have a great weekend and I hope that you enjoyed my life. That's really has what has been happening this week. Thanks. Bye.